This weekend, they're expected to steer clear of the latest 405 closure, named, of course, Carmageddon 2. That's how it is in L.A., a snarl of overstuffed freeways and commuters who keep their cool, except when they don't. KPCC's Stephen Cuevas has this profile of a punk rocker whose music expresses the insanity of L.A. traffic while extolling the virtues of public transit.
Couple of things you need to know about Eddie Solis. He lives in L.A., loves the band Kiss, and does not own a car.
Being someone who's from L.A., born and raised, and, having a few cars in my past, I saw the city much differently, through a different perspective, through the eyes of a bus rider.
Want to just go all the way to the back? Sure.
Line 18, Wilshire, Western Station.
Just steps from the front door of his home, across the street from a tortilla factory in LA's Boyle Heights neighborhood, Solis catches a bus that connects him with the city's subway and the commuter train he catches to his day job at an indie record label in Hollywood.
It just opened me up to little neighborhoods, galleries, clubs, bars, just everything. Just seeing what's out there, little pockets of the city.
Solis's journeys aboard LA buses and subway cars informs a lot of the material on The New Los Angeles Part 1, Through the Eyes of a Bus Rider, the latest release by the singer-guitarist band It's Casual. In Solis's vision of a new Los Angeles, people abandon their cars, climb aboard public transit, and rediscover their communities. One song extols the virtues of the LA County Metropolitan Transit Agency's Easy Pass and the urban underbelly it introduces to the rider.
And that's a nod and homage to, the people who know what you could even go cheaper and really beat the system and really steer away from spending money on gas and oil profits and all that. Is all it takes for me to witness racial tension, for me to witness illegal aliens. It's not to paint a negative picture, it's just my perspective of what is seen.
Off the bus and back on the street, we make our way past a jazz saxophonist playing for pocket change and down a long escalator to catch a train.
So, where are we now?
We're at the Red Line station, the Pershing Square station in downtown LA.
And what's our destination?
We're going to go downstairs another tier, and about 5 minutes we're going to get on the Red Line going northbound.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go.
The Metro Red Line snakes from North Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles. It's the train that inspired It's Casual's signature tune and spawned a viral internet video. It was partly filmed late at night on a moving train as it hurtles from station to station. Solis thrashes away on his guitar and barks the lyrics, which celebrate the Red Line and call out the congested freeways that coil around Los Angeles.
Este es un tren del Metro Red Line a North Hollywood.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice.
The thread that comes out of the record that ties everyone together is just be alive, don't be a victim of having a car.
An MTA spokesman said he couldn't comment on Eddie Solis's furious pro-Metro message, but the Red Line video was a hit at the offices of Move LA.
Eddie's done a good job. Thank you, Eddie.
It's the public transportation advocacy group headed by former Santa Monica Mayor Denny Zane. He liked the juxtaposition of Solis blissfully riding LA public transit in one scene with scenes of the band raging against those notorious freeway jams.
Eddie is all frantic when he talks about highways and so mellow when he's grooving on a skateboard and on the bus and on the Red Line. There's a metaphor for the transformation, from the, oh my God, I just got to get out of the traffic, to, hey, this is cool, I can mellow out.
Or you can blast the tune like Too Many People as you claw your way across Los Angeles by car, bus, or skateboard.
Los Angeles, there's too many
Too Many People could also be a motto for It's Casual. Over the years, the band whittled itself down to a power duo of Solis and a rotating cast of drummers. So you may think the burly, bearded punk rocker just can't get along with freeways, with people, or his native L.A. Not true.
I love it. I love everything about it. I've traveled throughout the U.S. many times, and I could never look forward enough to coming back. The weather, the different cultures, the landscape. I was just like, you know what? Now I know everyone moves to L.A.
Solis will bring the love and the volume during a Red Line mini tour next month. It's Casual will play a different venue within walking distance of several Red Line metro stops from Union Station to West Hollywood. For the California Report, I'm Stephen Cuevas.
That's the California Report, a production of KQED Public Radio in San Francisco. Our director this week is Nina Thorson. Sil Muller is our technical producer. We had additional engineering from Danny Bringer and Howard Gelman. Thanks to Hank Hadley at KCBX. Our online team includes Lisa Pickoff-White, David Marks, and Don Clyde. Our interns are Catherine Borgeson and Rachel Johnson. Tyke Hendricks is our elections editor with production help from Tina Lauerberg. We had editing support from Paul Rogers. Victoria Malione is our associate senior producer. Ingrid Becker is our senior producer. The news director is Bruce Kuhn. I'm Rachel Myro. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. This is the California Report.
Funds for the California Report are provided by the James Irvine Foundation, expanding opportunity for the people of California and supporting the California Report since its premiere in 1995. And the California Endowment. Health happens in schools at calendow.org. And Chevron, investing in renewables, strengthening communities, and creating jobs. More information at chevron.com.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line. 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The 605, the 101, the 101, the 101, the I-10, the 210, the 605, the 101, the 405, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line.
Hey, welcome to another great episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm your host, Edward Solis, and we have exciting people here tonight. We have, well, first of all, I got to give props to my in-house photography guy, Adam Murray. I mean, the guy is always consistent, and all the great photos you see on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's all courtesy of Adam Murray Photography. Check him out. I want to thank Adam for being here again. Adam, thank you. And I had a great weekend. I caught the Dodgers lose against the Reds on Thursday, but I was seven rows away from the dugout. I mean, that's close.
Yeah, you can't.
And I'm right behind Davey Lopes. He's coaching first. That's a legend, a living legend. So I was flipping out, and then when the Reds were up, it was Billy Hatcher. I don't even remember him, but so it was a great weekend. And Friday I caught Egyptian Lover at Amoeba Hollywood. Pretty exciting, man.
Was it?
Well, I mean, the guy's a pioneer. I mean, it's one of those things where it's good music and bad music just because it's party rock 808.
Right.
Early on hip hop, shake your booty music. It's really killer. And to see a legend like that was really phenomenal. I mean, when's the last time you saw Egyptian Lover play a show? So, it was a good weekend. I just wanted to recap and share with everyone. There's a lot of bus lines to take to get to these places. There's a Dodger shuttle from Union Station. Really, 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 really convenient if you're taking a shuttle to see the Dodger game because it's free from Union Station. And that's courtesy of the Dodgers.
Probably get you out of Dodger Stadium.
I've taken it plenty of times. I didn't this time because I went with someone they wanted to drive, and it was a great time. But if you prepare to go to a Dodger game in advance, you should really take the shuttle because if you take the red line or the gold line from any direction to Union Station, you get a free ride from Union Station to Dodger Stadium just by showing your ticket. Right. And it's police escorted, coned off, so you don't wait on Sunset. And they drop you off pretty much at the front gate.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
It's like the president of the United States kind of, treatment. But then Saturday it was, in Long Beach. It's Casual. My band played with Good For You, and it was a great show at Alex's Bar. It was Mike Vallely and Greg Ginn. They do a band on SST called Good For You. And, that was the weekend wrap-up. And I don't usually get personable, but I thought maybe I start sharing my experiences and letting people know that you could get a lot done without a car. So I'm going to try something new and put it out there. If anyone out there listening live or downloads this podcast after, and you have questions about using public transportation in Los Angeles, I'm going to kick it up a notch. I'm encouraging you to contact me direct at eesolis1975@gmail.com. Or you could call me, 562-213-8401. Text me, I'll help you. I'm kicking it up a notch. I am the advocate for Los Angeles, and I will show you how to be car-free.
I like it.
So that's where I'm at. It's all about connecting with the masses and making it easy for people. And it has to be this way. It has to, because people, when they go to the MTA website, the PDFs, they get confusing, the schedules. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm here to help. So anyways, this is even more exciting because this is the first episode we're doing talking about Hermosa Beach.
That's right. Yeah.
San Pedro.
Right.
And South Bay.
Yeah.
It's our first the first Los Angeles Nista South Bay episode. I'm excited because my in-studio guest used to be a roadie for the Rolling Stones. In addition, plays in a kick-ass band called Caveman Voice Box. I mean, all right, if you're not sold already, there's one more component to this whole format tonight. He works in a harbor.
Yep.
Okay. And there's a lot of attention to detail to do this job. I researched it. There's a lot of big cargo going in and out, and there's politics. So for me, to have Graham Wilson on the show, it's pretty exciting. So Graham, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers. How do you like your jarritos?
Oh, it's one for the ages. I'll tell you that right now.
Hecho in Mexico.
Yeah.
No, look, seriously. And to continue, I have like this geographical thread happening tonight because we're talking Hermosa, a tad of Pedro, and then our second guest coming in, Craig McDonald from KNAC. We're going to just talk Long Beach. So it's like that whole area.
Yeah, he's probably the best person to talk about Long Beach for sure.
Absolutely.
He knows it like the back of his hand.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really intrigued by you. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Okay, growing up in the South Bay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the skateboarding days. Were there any skate parks around? Bike parks?
Skate parks and bike parks were somewhat non-existent, to be honest with you.
Right?
They were pretty much. There was a big Bones Brigade kind of movement in those days, but there wasn't. You had to really go up to Upland. Like that was the major place that you had to go.
And that was the only place at the time, right? That didn't get killed off for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And in those days, in our age, that was a trek. That was a major trip to take. So. Yeah. There would be times where definitely, me and my brothers, we would do a lot of skating down into El Segundo area. We call them ghost lands. You know what I mean? Because at the time, it was ghost lines, I believe it was. We just kind of gave it names as we were going along because at the time it was a little bit more open. It was a little bit more. I don't know. I want to call it industrial and stuff like that. So we found some spots to kind of cruise around in.
It's funny you say that because growing up in Whittier,
right,
in that area, there's a place in Pico Rivera off the 605 called the Rat Hole. Okay. And then there's a place in La Mirada off the 5 freeway by the swap meet before you go to Knott's Berry Farm.
Right.
Called Swamplands.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's always little ditches along the freeways and you give them name plus lands, Swamplands or Sad Lands.
Yeah, exactly.
So same kind of idea, right?
Kind of, yeah, exactly. They had the whole like Sad Lands kind of vibe or stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you grow up in your adult life. In your case, you traveled the world with the Rolling Stones, and you're immersed in the harbors of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What are some of your if you could tell the people listening about the great spots of Hermosa, whether it's food or somewhere to go see? What would you recommend? Anything?
Well, I would say there's probably two places that I think one is a staple of Hermosa Beach. Was what's called Clark Field.
Clark Field.
Okay. And now what it is basically a park of recreations, for basketball, lawn bowling, baseball, and
wow,
it's been there for years. I want to say it got named after the mayor of Hermosa Beach at the time back in 1936, named John Clark.
Okay.
And it has this like old, like almost like this dance hall, this like little convention center where I want to say back in the 70s. There would be punk bands back in those days that would be able to play shows in those areas, right? So that seems to be just a great staple. It's just got a great vibe. It's got a good natural baseball vibe for the kids and the whole thing about it and everything. You're able to.
Is it one diamond?
It's like one big square, right? And they got like 3 diamonds, and then over on Valley Drive they have the lawn bowling, and the lawn bowling's been there for a number of years. And then over on the side, they got the 2 basketball courts. So it's got it just has a Hermosa feel to it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think necessarily you go to Hermosa Beach and you'd be going to the beach and checking out the break wall or something like that or doing this, But just something about my childhood. It was either you were at the beach or you were at Clark Field. It just was. That was the life. Place to meet if you weren't at the beach. You know what I mean? So I would say Clark Field is just something to just kind of check out. It just got some history to it. There's even like these old these concrete blocks that like were even like sketched out to 1928, like back then.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's got some history to it.
Now, do organized leagues play there?
Yeah, it's basically through the Hermosa Beach city of Hermosa Beach.
Very nice.
That puts it on through and everything. So there's that, and then. One other place that's a great place to go check out and eat if you love Cajun food. It's on the corner of Pier Avenue and Manhattan Avenue.
And what's this place called?
It's called New Orleans Cajun.
Oh.
And it's a family-owned restaurant. And I mean, the place is tiny. It's probably maybe half the size of this room.
That big?
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's a family-owned. The mom is the cook. The daughter and I believe the brother and the 2 cousins are the waiters and waitresses, right? They have kind of just maybe a couple of outside people that are working with it, but it's all really family owned and really tight,
cozy and small,
real small, nice and cozy. Could even be like it gives you a little bit of a loud vibe, and the food is just like they have tri-tips. They don't even give you a knife.
Wow,
it melts in your mouth and everything. They have the crawfish, they have jambalaya. All really, really good stuff. And plus, it just gives you a nice, good look at what Hermosa kind of even was before when I was growing up and now, because they really modernized it down there.
Sure.
They really did. They kind of made it into a promenade-like type of a thing. like with like Santa Monica,
A lot of the
like
beach cities that have that, yeah.
kind of, because I mean the times change and real estate prices change, and you got to change with the times, right? So a lot of those surf shacks that I grew up in are kind of gone. You know what I mean? They're kind of leveled out.
I know what you're talking about. Those little surf shacks, like the ones at Huntington Beach and Hermosa.
Exactly.
Whether it's you go get your food, and it's just really like a shack on the beach.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much how I lived. I lived a block away from the beach. I was fortunate enough to live a block away from the beach on 6th Street and Hermosa Avenue. And it was this tiny apartment, you know what I mean? All made of wood. All of that 70s, like odd colored wood,
Right.
The big planks of wood, right?
Very early 70s.
Very early 70s type of deco. And it's all kind of like, I don't want to say all of them's gone, but a lot of them are kind of gone. They're just kind of building up and making it, more of an expensive paradise to live in.
Right.
And it happens. What are you going to do?
And that's part of the progression of, any city by the beach, really, because they see that's a destination.
Right.
And mostly, people that have a city income would come to live there.
Yeah.
And they want to bring in a certain, tax bracket.
Yeah. Well, I want to say even like Manhattan Beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I read up on something to where that's like either the number 2 or the number 3 most expensive coastal city beach city to live in all California.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's, they build it up. Yeah.
And what are your public transportation experiences going through the South Bay, whether it's Hermosa or Redondo, anywhere?
Yeah, I was, there was Route 130 that I lived eventually on the north side of Hermosa. So I had to go all the way to Redondo Union High School, which was completely on the other end of the South Bay compared to where I was at.
Okay.
So I would take the Route 130, which I checked just to see if it was still there because it's been so long. Sure enough, going strong. It's the 130 that goes through all the way down. It goes down Hermosa Avenue, pretty much along the coast, cuts up through Redondo, goes down. I believe it's not the Esplanade, but it's like Gerondo, I believe, and it goes right through into Redondo Beach. Now, if you're coming back the other way, you can even catch that. Get a transfer, I believe it's either to the 210 or the 232. It'll take you to the airport.
Exactly.
If you're on the 232. If you're doing the 210, I want to say the 210 can even drop you off as far as Hollywood. I believe that's the 210. But anyway, that's where my public transportation experiences kind of mostly came from, especially when we were even kids in the summertime. Different times, so kids, 12, 13 years old could stay by themselves. Not like, today where, there's a lot of paranoia out there.
And the laws were different, I think.
Exactly.
I mean, like, child abandonment or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole thing, like when you leave dogs in the car and stuff like that, now you can't even do that. You know what I mean? But anyway, we would take a lot of those public transportation places from beach to beach, basically through that 130 route.
Wow, so you have hands-on experience of taking public transportation, like in the 80s, probably, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
wow,
cool. It was like mid to late 80s. Yeah.
All right. How does Graham Wilson from the South Bay end up on the Rolling Stones Steel Wheels tour?
Well, it was Voodoo Lounge.
Voodoo Lounge.
Yeah, it was Voodoo Lounge. Sorry, I wish it was Steel. I wish it was Steel Wheels.
You wish.
I do.
That
wish
was the
it
Guns N' Roses, right?
That was Guns N' Roses, and I think it was Prince. I think Prince opened up.
And then Guns N' Roses.
Got booed, and Guns N' Roses. I don't even know if they got booed or not. I'm not sure, but
Stadium Rock, dude. Right?
It was complete state. It was the end of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It really was.
In the industry, it was that era. Like that was the tail end of it.
The whole, if you want to call it mindless sex, drugs, and rock and roll area, that was like the final hurrah. It was the summer of '94. And I was moving back down. I lived in Santa Rosa at the time, actually.
Wow,
I left.
Bay Area, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I left.
Wait.
I left the South Bay.
Do you say hella a lot?
No. God, I hated that. I was the only one that didn't say it.
But I think when people say hella, it goes like Santa Rosa's the lowest of the geographic hella zone.
Right. Yeah, you get into like Eureka. They extend their hellas. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a natural progression. You know what I mean? I want to say mothers give birth saying hella. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But so anyway, I moved from the South Bay up to Santa Rosa.
Okay.
Was in a band. Started my first band ever. Right.
What was it called?
It was called Mother Mercy. I was 20 years old. And things just kind of didn't work out like bands kind of do after a couple of years. So I wanted to move back down to L.A. Well, my brother had an apartment.
Let's talk about your brother really quick. I won't lose place.
No problem.
Your brother was in a very important band on SST Records, The Descendants.
That's right.
Let's talk about his involvement in that band really quick.
Okay.
He was on what? He was on a few records.
He was on the Enjoy album.
Enjoy, okay.
Yeah, he wrote Sour Grapes. He was one of the contributors to that.
That's
right.
That's probably my favorite song. That and Silly Girl.
Silly Girl is one of my favorite. I used to sing that to my daughter when she was like real little, just to get her to go to sleep, you know. But Bob Marley made her go to sleep. My singing didn't. But anyway, you know. But he actually introduced me, and how could he not, to punk rock? You know,
right.
I was rock and roller, you know, kind of like how everybody kind of was when there's like 10, 13, it's rock. He showed me I Don't Want to Grow Up. You know, he showed me that I Don't Want to Grow Up album, and it just totally it blew me away. I didn't know music did that. You know what I mean? I didn't know
you were used to a conventional format
that's what
on
I mean.
FM radio.
That's what I mean. Exactly. I mean, and who wasn't, right? I mean, I was into Rush, and you know what I mean? I was. Foghat, Kiss. I was a huge Kiss fan, right?
Sure.
A huge Kiss fan.
Cheap Trick, probably, right?
Cheap Trick, Budokan, AC/DC, Aerosmith, the whole nine, right? And he showed me this, and just like seeing how they all kind of just the lifestyle. You know what I mean? It wasn't like necessarily like he just introduced it to me. I just went, whoa, that's heavy. And it was always just in the back of my mind. So that was what made me kind of go like, wow, there's other things that are out there. You know, and
you probably, I'm not going to speak for you, but I know when I discovered Black Flag and the Descendants and Blast and all those SST bands, it was a very non-ego approach.
Yeah,
and everyone was very accessible and very approachable. Right.
Absolutely.
There's no barricades or security.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, some of those guys used to rehearse in my basement. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it wasn't a lot, but I mean, it was just, you know, and every time they were down there, it was like this little kid just kind of going like, you know, hey, what's happening? You know, being a little kid, and they were just like, right on, come on in, kid. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And just, you know, my dad and Bill, if I remember right, were huge like coffee connoisseurs. Because Bill's a real deal when it comes to coffee.
Yeah,
he's the real deal, dude. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. He's into that. Well, my dad was like, he was kind of the same way. He would get it because he was a machinist for a place called Garrett Corporation in Torrance, right? So he'd get up real early, make the Java, do the whole thing,
like 5
right?
o'clock
And 5 o'clock, 4:30, whatever it is, and everything.
Coffee.
And sure enough, there's Bill, kind of, you know, the whole thing, and they really got along really well.
That's great.
When it came to the whole coffee thing. So yeah, he was with the Descendants. My brother Doug Carrion, he was in Descendants. He was also with Dag Nasty on the Wig Out at Denko's album.
Wow. So
he he did his time with Brian Baker and those guys, and
independent royalty you're a part of.
Yeah. I'm fortunate. You know, I'm fortunate just to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, to see all that grow, and the growth process, and see the work behind the final product, that's really a treat.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, some of the things when he would bring home, I'd just be like, I just lucky to even have an ear on it.
Yeah,
really.
So let's go back on the right turn and go back to your opportunity you had to work with the Stones. Now, how did this happen? You were at a company, right?
I was at a company. I was trying out for a band down here in LA. Kind of didn't really work out, but the guy worked for a production company up in Compton at the time, and it was called Show Power Incorporated. He just said, "Well, you want to come down and get a job? I can get you a job." He got me a job within a week. You know, he just said, "We're looking for people." You know, I'm like, "I don't know anything." He's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll teach you."
Now,
you know,
let everyone know how much you didn't know about power tools and stuff like that.
Oh,
at the time.
Okay, well, at the time, I didn't even know how to loosen a drill bit. Like, right? 'Cause I would see the key on the thing, and I'd just be like, this thing's broken, and I got to fix it. And I'm trying to put the key onto the power. Like, I'm so green, you know what I mean? I'm literally like I'm just so green about it, right? So I get this job, and I've got this power, I've got this power drill. This is about maybe 3 weeks in. No lie. And I'm trying to figure this out and everything. And this Australian guy named Shane, he comes up, he's just kind of looking around. He's looking at me, he's tripping out. I mean, he says, what's going on, mate? What do you got going on? And I said, I don't know how to get this drill bit off. I have no clue what I'm doing. You know, I'm like, how do I do this? And he like takes the key, and here you go. This is how you loosen it. And I'm like, wow, thanks. Thank you. Got it. You know,
So you were truly learning as you went.
Truly learning some kind of craft, something to kind of get me through to the next day, really.
But you went in really, it was truly like living in the moment, learning by the day.
Exactly.
And I come in the next day and say, well,
moment by moment.
Yeah.
Really. I was driving a beat up truck, didn't even know if it would make it to work. You know what I mean? Every single day was just a total like
risk.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's the fun part, right?
Absolutely. Well, it's like you don't really think of what's going on about it, you know, and you could just you almost appreciate it more. But anyway.
Sure.
So I had this experience with this guy, Shane, right? And literally, this guy a week later comes back and says, "You need to come to Long Beach, right? Because the owner is going to have a party, and we're gonna hang out." I said, "Okay." I go to the party. We hang out. Great guy, Irish guy, young guy, 35 years old at the time.
Owned the company,
right? And basically threw down a one-way ticket to Washington D.C. Gave me a preliminary itinerary and said, you're going to go to Washington, D.C. in the next 2 weeks. You're going to take off. You're going to get your bag. You're going to go down to the federal building. You're going to get your passport. You're going to jump on this plane and say goodbye to everybody for a year and a half because you're going on the Stones.
Wow. And that's how it went down.
It's basically how it went down. I mean, that's the short story of it. But nuts and bolts of it. But that's really how it went down. And before I knew it, I was standing in the middle of RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. for a month worth of rehearsals.
So they rehearsed at a stadium for a month.
They actually went for 2 months. Actually, they had 1 month in Toronto at this blimp hangar, right? They went there to kind of build everything out with the steel and all that in the stage. Because at that time, if you guys remember, they had that big Cobra, right? And the Cobra would shoot out fire and the whole thing. Well, I mean, it was like we got to make sure this is engineered properly.
It can be dangerous if it's not.
Well,
right?
exactly, exactly. And there were definitely some moments, right? So then they go to Washington D.C. to do a kind of relive it in a rock and roll stadium. Actual stadium. Like, okay, now we've done the run through. Now let's do the dress rehearsal kind of thing, right? Yeah, and I was there for a month. We did 2 shows, and then it was 6 months in the United States, 3 weeks off, 5 months in like the other countries, South America, Japan, New Zealand.
So you traveled
Australia.
The world with them.
I traveled the whole world. I was lucky, and then it was 3 months in Europe. So I was able to travel the world, free travel.
While you're getting paid.
While I'm getting paid,
and learn
getting
this rock and roll trade,
learning a trade. And
with the Stones,
and it's
the biggest band in the world.
And this was the same crew that did the Guns N' Roses Metallica tour, the one where James burned up his arms. Sure. I mean, they were on that tour. The production manager, you can actually find him in the Let There Be Rock documentary, the DVD, the AC/DC documentary. He was one of the production managers even on that. So there was history with the crew that I was with. I mean, these guys traveled with AC/DC back in the day. They did the Stones back in the day. They were
road warriors.
Oh, real road warriors, just consistently on the road. They couldn't stand it if they stayed at home for more than a week.
So, did you ever have any interaction with any of the Stones? Ron Wood or Keith, anyone like that?
Ron, yeah. Ron.
He's my favorite.
Yeah,
now is
dude, he's awesome. He's awesome, man. His son was one of my buddies on the tour, right? Jamie Wood, right? He was a little bit younger. I was like the second youngest. I was 22. I was 22 years old, right? He was like 20. So we kind of hung out.
He was working also?
It was his first gig too, but he was more of the dressing room guy, right? Like he would set up the dressing room stuff and all that, and the lighting for what they called the Voodoo Lounge. He would help out with that stuff along with his mom. That would help out with Ron. Wow. Right. So it was kind of like this family thing. Well, he was the kid that just kind of went I want to get out there with you guys. You know what I mean? He's all,
was he kind of rugged?
Oh, he looks very clean, very charming, debonair kind of kid. Right. But finally, when he got out there on the front with everybody, he went for it. I mean, he was one of the first to get out there and the last to leave. He worked hard. Yeah, he worked hard.
He didn't try to take no shortcuts.
He didn't want to take any shortcuts, and he didn't want to show everybody that he was not going to take it for granted that he was somebody's kid. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to just sit back and do it. And he did. He loaded trucks with us, and he.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's
oh yeah.
awesome.
It was awesome. It was great. He's a great kid. So he was telling me, and this was in Mexico City. He goes, you know what? My dad is doing some kind of recording session here. And this was when we were in Mexico City for about like maybe, I think we were there for about 2 weeks, right? And it was like 5 shows, 2 weeks. And he goes, "What? Come along, let's go hang and this whole thing." And
so
I'm
it was
like,
just his dad working with some guys.
It was the dad working with Bernard Fowler.
Wow.
Right. And it actually turned out to be, I think, one of Bernard Fowler's solos records, right? Back in 95. So we're in this recording studio and everything, and we're kind of doing stuff, and Bernard's wanting me to sing a backup on this and that and everything, which was awesome. You know what I mean? It was like, that was actually my first time I ever walked into a real recording studio.
A real studio.
A real one, where I just kind of like, whoa. So I do some takes. Everything's cool. We're having a couple of beers. We're doing our thing, right?
Wow.
And sure enough, little 5'4" tiny cat comes in with the mullet that we all know.
From like the Faces mullet, right?
From the Faces
Looks
mullet.
just like Rod Stewart, but it's brunette.
Exactly right.
Dude, that's
right.
trouble.
And he just walks right in, and he just walks right in. He lights up the room. Everything's cool. We're all good. He does a guitar take or something like that. We do this like party like vocal take while he's doing the guitars. Now, mind you, I didn't know if I could even approach the guy still. Like, I was still a little bit like, whoa, this is like, my mom used to put me to sleep to this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is kind of a trip. But I'm also so young where I'm kind of like, it doesn't seem real. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really kind of like, whoa, what's up? So we have a good time. Jamie says, you know what? We're staying, you know where we're staying? I said, yeah. He's like, come on up to my dad's room. Let's hang out. You know, let's hang out. Hung out and everything, got through and did the whole introduction. Great guy. I mean, cool. just like an outstanding, just a sweetheart of a guy, right? But to go even further into that party, right? So we're into the party and it's getting into the wee hours. Okay, so you know, I'm not gonna. I'll just leave it at that, right? It was going into the wee hours, right? And so it's kind of winding down. And I see Ron, and he's got a guitar in his lap, literally, and he's staring at this like black and white image of a TV, right? and he starts to play, and he's really intense. He's really looking into it, and just kind of checking it out and doing his thing, right? He's watching like an old 1930s documentary on some older blues guitar player, right? And so I'm listening to it and everything, and he's playing it note for note, what that guy is playing on the TV. So he studied it that much longer. He's sitting there just playing it. It's like about 15, 20-minute thing of this guy in like a porch in like Memphis back in the black and white days of the 30s. And Ron is just zeroed in on this and playing every single note with it and everything as if it's like an exercise for the guy. Wow. You know, it was just like, you know, and I just kind of like stared at it, and I don't know what that would have done for anybody else. I know for me, I just kind of went, you know, I just saw a figure kind of let his guard down for a second and show me what he really loves and what he really studies and what he really makes him.
He was being himself.
Right, and he was being himself, you know, for those 15 minutes, and I was.
But you saw that.
I saw it.
It came out.
Oh,
like
totally.
Minutes.
I was like. It was like everybody was tripping on somebody. You know what I mean? It's like the 6 degrees of separation of tripping out.
In the wee hours.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right? You know, 1930s guy is tripping out on whatever it is then Ron Wood, then me tripping out on him, then somebody tripping on me on his dad. You know what I mean? Like, you know, should we kick this guy out of the room now? He's starting to trip out on my dad. I'm like, no, easy. But it kind of a trip. I mean, it just was... It was memorable. I'll never forget it.
Very cool story. We're gonna hear some tracks from your band Caveman Voice Box.
Right on.
How many tracks do we got here?
We got 3 tracks from the new EP.
All right, we're gonna hear all 3 right now.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take it away.
All right.
smell of the ground when you wake in the morning. I say, hey, you know, I don't mind the kind of love that you're showing. You keep it down, you're going crazy from a other loving baby. Hey, hey, you know, I don't mind the kind of love that you're showing. Hey, such a filthy mind. Come on, baby, show it. Baby, don't you feel my pain? You got a cure for sure. But don't you know you drive me crazy from a other loving baby? Hey, you got a filthy mind. You better watch where you're going. Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Well, don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Well, don't you know I'm going out of my mind? When I got you all alone, and I got you all to myself. Oh, baby, no. Oh, baby, show me one more time. When I got you all alone, and the dog in me won't get in line. Oh, baby, no. So, baby, show me one more time. Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Well, don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Don't you know I'm going out of my mind? Baby, won't you save me? Baby, won't you save me? Well, don't you know I'm going out of my mind?
All right, welcome back to Los Angeles Nista. I'm your host, Edward Solis. In-studio guest, Graham Wilson from Caveman Voice Box. That was your band we just heard.
That's right.
That's your EP.
That's the EP.
Yeah,
That's the new EP, Facial Hair and Harmonies. there's a story behind the story, right?
Yeah,
there is,
exactly.
So.
You know, so why don't you tell everyone where you work?
I work at the now it's at the terminal. I was basically the port of Long Beach at a place called Total Terminals Incorporated.
Okay, so you do work in the harbor.
That's right.
And that kind of reinforces having you on because you are from, the South Bay.
Yeah.
And, we wanted to really highlight that area.
Yeah.
Redondo, Hermosa, Pedro.
Right.
And you have living experience as a resident and work experience in that area.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of myths about Terminal Island, right? It's called Terminal
Island. Yeah.
Is there like a place, like a funny farm where they keep people that have these intense deformities and they're too intense to be on the street? Is that true?
They have like a glass cabin that's underwater, actually.
Really?
No, I'm joking. They basically, no, I've heard that too. And to be honest with you, man, I've never seen it. You know what I mean? But I have heard that too. And I really couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I think it's a myth.
Can anyone go to Terminal Island?
Yeah, absolutely. You just go across the you just go across either bridge, either from Pedro or you go from Long Beach, and you go right into I think it's Navy Way. Navy Way is kind of what leads it to leads it over to APL, and it leads it over to the rail department of where I work, and anybody can go there.
So is there a residential area that's actually there?
No.
Okay, but anyone could get there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was just completely off limits.
No, it's not like like inside the terminal, like where I work is. Yeah, you know, but no. But as far as like driving to the outsides and to the answer is no. You can get in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, today on the front cover of the Press Telegram, did you see it?
I didn't. No.
They're talking about the longshoremen hiring part-timers.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess it was a non-union thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was very political.
Sure.
I thought of you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what your views were on this.
I would think that it would be probably a cold day in hell that any longshore union member would ever allow that.
And that's what they were saying.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't see how the union would even want to even go down that avenue.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, they're fighting for their mindset is they're fighting for their jobs every single day. You know,
is that how they operate?
Well, I mean, some do. I gotta say, for the most part, with those guys down there, with those guys and girls, 85-90% of them are great workers. Great workers. You get along with them well. They understand that there's a two-way street with it all and everything. You know, but there's also the sense of like, you know, when we really got to get down and dirty, we're keeping our jobs, you know, and, you know, how can you fault them for that? You know?
Sure.
So they definitely have a little bit of an intense mindset when it really gets down to the nitty gritty of having their jobs for sure. You know?
How's the employment at the harbor as far as the workload for the longshoremen and the seamen?
Well, for the longshore, there's plenty of work. There is plenty of work. I mean, right now is the busy season. When they call it the busy season right now, like you're already starting to get some of your holiday freight, all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of work that's definitely kind of
it's coming in to be sold around holidays.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know,
customs, all that stuff,
exactly. But the thing of it is, like, I'm not. At our place, we don't really see a whole lot of casuals, and when the casuals go out, then that means there's really a lot of work because those are the guys that can't, you know, they have to they're like the bottom of the list, you know, to get a job down there at the Union Hall. You know,
that's what the story was. They're hiring tons of casuals.
I'm sure they are.
And there was like thousands of applications coming in. $40 an hour.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they're getting applications from everywhere in the world, you know, for a job like that. But not a lot of people realize that you're going to be a casual for a long time before you can.
It's all about paying dues.
Well, you got to get your hours. You know what I mean? You got to get your hours as a union member to be able to move up to that B list and then the A list. And
different tiers, correct?
Pretty much, exactly. Different tiers. And then once you get into that upper tier and everything, then you can finally start choosing where you can go. You know what I mean? Then it's just a matter of watching your hours. You know what I mean? And how many hours? Because if you have too many hours in a week, you're going to get down lower in some of the jobs later on in the week. And it's a big game. It's basically what it is,
right,
you know? So,
right. As far as the intensity of working on the harbor, I had a friend that, you know, used to operate the cranes.
Yeah.
And told me stories, you know, some pretty intense stories of just how intense it is with the weight of certain cargo,
right,
and seeing, you know, seeing a crane pick up heavy cargo and the crane just tip over.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never seen the tip over effect. I've seen.
Oh, no. But wait, not tip over, not being able to hold the container and then dropping it, but actually picking up the container with the truck.
Right.
Because the truck didn't release it.
Yeah.
And they bring it up like 40 feet and then bam.
Yep. Yeah.
Just release it.
Yeah. I've seen close calls like that. I've actually seen.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
That's truth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's happened. Yeah. That's happened before. There's been containers that have fallen in the hatch of the ships. You know, there's been just all kinds of weird things. And the thing of it is with those cranes, to be honest with you, like they're all they're all on the rail, right? When they're working a ship. So when it bangs onto anything, like that whole thing is moving. So those crane operators are working, and, you know, they're kind of they're kind of slouched weird all day long for 4 to 5 hours every day. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. So, and I got to manage those guys. That's what I do.
There you go.
See, I manage those guys, and I kind of tell them, okay, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to get it off. This is kind of production numbers we want to do. So go out and do it. So I'm telling somebody that's double my salary, double my experience, actually doing the physical labor work, but I'm telling them what to do. How's that work?
How does that work?
Only at the docks,
you got some good.
Only at the docks. It's a fantastic place.
Well, I got to tell you though,
I love it.
You must have some really good karma because the Rolling Stones doing road work for the Rolling Stones, worldwide, and then you're telling guys with more experience and making more money what to do. Yeah,
it's either karma or whatever. I don't know what it is, but
Well, Graham, thank you so much. Do you have any shows coming up with your band? Anything booked?
At the moment, we've got in September we've got Alex's Bar booked up. Yep, that's going to be on the 26th, and we're looking to get things booked up here for the next month. And we've got an 805 Rock Fest that's going on up in the Ventura County area. I think that's in October. And then a Hellride Festival is a little stoner rock festival in Orange County in November as well.
Awesome. Okay, so why don't you take us out with a few of your tracks, and then we're going to go from Manhattan Beach, well, not Manhattan, but Hermosa, right? Redondo, Pedro, into Long Beach. And our next guest, Craig McDonald, Crazy
Sounds
Craig
good.
from KNC.com. So we'll be back in a couple of songs.
All right.
show you.
Close the door. Hey, welcome back to Los Angeles Nista. I'm your host, Edward Solis. And we took you from Hermosa Beach to San Pedro. And now we're going to head into Long Beach with our in-studio guests from KNAC, FM, and .com.
Yes.
Super Rock Sunday host and creator, Craig McDonald, a.k.a. Crazy Craig.
Yes.
Or are you Count Crazy Craig?
That's my alter ego, Count Crazy Craig. And actually, lately, I've been doing a lot of the Count.
I want to talk about that because that's what's new and exciting. But I want to let people know, Super Rock Sunday, you have archives of your podcast, right?
I have almost 400 shows
That's
archived.
fantastic.
So, yeah, I'm kind of on a hiatus right now.
That's
so it's
fine.
like I just every week I'll post the best of Super Rock Sunday, which is just the funniest ones I have.
But tell people where they could actually go get your archives.
Oh, it's at podomatic.com/crazy Craig 666, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the Count Crazy Craig alter ego and character you've created. You've been shooting some stuff.
Yeah, well, what happened was one Halloween at KNEC, I was just bored, and I'm like, because since I've been doing it for 15 years, I was like, I had to do something to change it up, or else I would have gone crazy. So I just started talking in his voice like this vampire dude. And then it just kind of started taking on a life of its own. And I started building these really intricate shows with sound effects. And then I bring in like movie trailer bites and whatever. And it just kind of started.
Do you drink the blood?
Of course. I do not drink the wine.
The wine?
I don't drink
You don't
wine.
drink wine. Yeah,
Wine.
You drink the wine.
I don't drink the wine. I drink the blood.
But you do have a friend named Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie. I don't feel so good. I started calling Eddie up on the phone and be like, Eddie.
Like Ed Wood? You ever see
like
Ed Wood?
Bela Lugosi
When
and
Bela
Ed Wood.
would call Ed Wood, he was like, Bella?
Yeah. But anyway, so then a friend of mine, Hart Fisher, has this he has this online horror station called American Horrors, which is on filmon.com, and you go there and you click on American Horrors, and it's free to watch. They got cheesy 60s, 70s horror movies that play 24/7 nonstop, and it's free to watch on your
Always
theater.
streaming.
Always. But now he's starting to do original programming, and he kind of he goes, dude, you really need to do that character on the station, have like a music program, like a music video show. And I'm like, that would be awesome, because I was trying to figure out a way how I could do the voice all year round anyway. And so he had me, we filmed this. He did like a Christmas special. We filmed it in January, and it aired on Easter.
The Christmas special.
Yeah. And I dressed up, and I've got this. Actually, you can go to Count Crazy Craig. I have a Facebook page, and you can see pictures of all this stuff, and there's video and stuff. But so yeah, we did this. I interviewed people and asking them stupid questions, and then it just started snowballing from there. Like I went to I interviewed the Soska sisters. They're these twin horror movie directors.
Yep.
And they just did their last film, American Mary, has been winning all kinds of awards at horror festivals all over the world. And I interviewed them, and they were super nice. And then I went and interviewed my friend Zan Cassavetes, who also made a horror movie that just came out not too long ago called Kiss of the Damned. And I interviewed her at her soundtrack release party, and there's a picture of me with Billy Zane.
Oh, Billy Zane.
Yeah, and
from Titanic.
And the Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, the Phantom. That is his kick-ass movie.
Everyone,
I think.
There's another guest in here. His name's Count Crazy Craig.
Yes.
There's two of you.
I know.
Is there a third person inside there?
No, and I don't want the one either.
Hey, let's talk about Long Beach really quick.
Okay, I haven't lived in Long Beach in 20 years, Eddie.
I know. I
couldn't tell you anything about Long Beach right now.
I know, but I'm feeling nostalgic about it.
Okay.
I'm feeling nostalgic about it. Let's talk about the days when Long Beach was thriving because of a rock radio station called KNAC.
Yeah. Okay.
105.5.
Yes.
Right? FM.
Yes.
There was a lot of restaurants like letting you come and DJ back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Because of the station, and you would show up.
Did we talk about this last time?
Not thoroughly.
Okay.
Now, I want to repeat on a story, and you know where I'm going with this.
Gene Simmons?
Yeah. I got to tell you, because we had a way bigger listenership now.
So should I?
Way more downloads than 3 months ago.
Which one did I told the story about how I got in his face.
In Redondo Beach.
Oh, and at the concrete convention, the forum, Foundations Forum.
Yeah, Foundations Forum. Now, Ray Nishimoto remembers Foundations Forum. Okay. Now,
I got, okay, you know what? I'll tell you the story about how I was bowling next to Kiss at the TJ Martell Cancer fundraiser.
Was that like a KNAC event?
Would do it. Yeah, there was like golfing and a baseball game and bowling.
And what year was this?
Oh, 94 maybe. Probably 94. It was like right before KNAC switched formats.
Okay. So where did this take place? Was it like in Hollywood? Or?
It was in Torrance, I think.
South Bay episode.
Yeah. So
here we go, sticking true to that South Bay episode.
So So, I went down there, and KNAC had a lane, and Kiss had a lane right next to KNAC. And this was probably my fourth run-in with Gene Simmons.
Through KNAC, right?
There's like 8 of them.
Oh, okay.
So I could seriously write a small book about it. I want to do a short film.
You should.
Which,
reenact it?
Reenact all of them.
Dude, they're all hilarious. Right? I mean, you'd probably get so many goddamn hits from that thing. You know what I mean?
Fucking hilarious, right?
Okay, so...
I'm sitting there bowling, and I was pretty good at the time. It was me and Dangerous Darren from KNAC. He was the he was the nighttime guy, and I forgot who else was bowling with us, but I was just kicking fucking ass. And I think we came in like second place overall, whatever. And, Gene and Paul are sitting there just kind of like,
just being an old man or what?
Pretty much. I don't even think Gene... Oh, I guess Gene was bowling, but, whatever. He was too busy talking up some bimbo chick. But this guy comes and sits down next to me, this older guy. And he goes, you don't mind if I sit here, do you? I'm like, no, hell no. And he's like an older English guy, and we're sitting there, blah, blah, blah. And so we ended up getting these shirts... because we were in the bowling thing, not the league, but whatever. We placed second, whatever. So he goes, what did you get that for? I go, I guess I got it for bowling. And he goes, I want one of those. I go, there's the chick. Go ask if you can have one. Say you're with our team, right there. So he walks away, and I was looking at him like, holy shit, man. Was that Pete Townsend?
Wow.
And Pete Townsend had been sitting next to me for like the whole time talking with me, and I just didn't recognize him because this was like when he was kind of older and he had put on a bunch of weight and whatever. But if I had realized that, I would have just flipped out because I was such a big Who fan.
And this is in Torrance.
Yeah.
So you're in a Pete Townsend, Gene Simmons sandwich.
Yeah. So
him on one side.
Yeah.
Him on the other side.
So Pete Townsend fucks off to go get his T-shirt or whatever, and we're done now, with the game. So I'm just sitting there bowling by myself, just throwing strike after strike after strike, and Gene comes and goes, "Hey there, got quite a bowling arm on you." And I'm like, "Thanks." And he goes, "You ever thought about becoming a professional bowler?" And I'm like,
"Are you serious?"
Yeah, and I'm looking at him like, no. I go, I want to be a radio DJ, so I'm on the KNAC team. He's like, let me see you throw another one. So I throw another one and strike, and he goes, I think you should try to look into being a professional bowler. I'm
in
like,
the Gene Simmons voice, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And he goes, hey, that's what I thought about rock and roll, and look what happened to me. And he did the two thumbs
to me?
to him. And I wanted to say, yeah, look what happened to you, because this was way before
put the makeup back on.
Put the makeup back on. So,
It was like glam days.
Well, I forgot what it was. Lick It Up? No. Was it after Lick It Up?
Well, I'll tell you from experience, from being in the Kiss Army.
Yeah. How was that?
I'll tell you, the 94 timeline, Revenge just came out.
Okay.
And that was produced by Bob Ezrin. And the lineup was Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think it was Revenge.
And I saw them on that tour.
I'm sure you did.
Great White and Trickster open.
No,
Trickster. And it was a very bad opening situation.
Tell me about it.
The Kiss was great.
Yeah.
They're always great. I will always defend Kiss.
I know you will.
You're like,
I will always offend with my Gene Simmons story.
So he did a double thumb.
Yeah, double thumb.
Well, you know what the best blowout was is when because this is a South Bay episode. I mean, you had that encounter in Torrance, and he had a blowout with Gene in Redondo.
Yeah.
At that, I guess they came to sign autographs, right, for like 3.
Yeah.
And you were behind the glass.
It was in the DJ booth.
Yeah, you're in the, but it was post Foundations Forum when you stood up in a Q&A and you told him he didn't know anything about the record industry and basically fuck Simmons Records and he doesn't know anything.
And I got like the crowd of 2,000 people behind me like, yeah.
And then he sees you like 6 months later, right?
Yeah, and he walks in, because he told me, you don't know nothing, you're just a kid.
He told you that straight out to your face.
Straight to me, I was like, what? Fuck you. So anyway, so
Redondo Beach.
So we're in there, and like he comes and stands in the DJ booth, and it's just me and him in there now, and it's like, and I go, you know what? I used to have a poster of you on my wall. Now I'm just totally ashamed I ever had it. And he's like,
soundproof old school.
Yeah,
DJ.
no one can hear what we're saying.
In the club, and they're in the plexiglass together, and they're talking.
But people can see us like we're in a heated argument, And he's like, fuck you. You're just, who are you? Blah, blah. I'm Gene fucking Simmons, fucking I toured the world, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whatever. So, we get the signal. It's like, okay, wrap it up. Let's get going. It's like, so I turn on the mic. I'm like, hey, there's fashions, blah, 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 blah. And Gene Simmons puts his arm around me. He goes, I was just sitting here with my old friend Crazy Craig, catching up on some stuff. And I'm like, looking at my, and then he goes, and then that's when he goes, we're going to be signing autographs over here, blah, blah, blah. And so, and some people went and got in line, and then I grabbed my double platinum gatefold vinyl, and I'm like, fuck, people are always texting me when I'm in here.
That's a nice ringtone you have there. Someone's getting shot.
Someone's shooting me a message.
Welcome to the Long Beach episode. You're getting fucking shot in the face in the middle of a conversation. How's that?
Pretty much.
That's good.
So I take my gatefold record over there, and I'm just like, and I have Paul sign it, and then
double platinum, right?
Yeah, double platinum. Then I get to Gene, and I go, you don't even deserve to sign this. and
he's taking it personal, right?
Yeah, and he's just kind of like looking at me the whole time. He just opens it up, not even looking what he's signing, just looking at me, and he signs it, and he goes, you want it. And I was like, and hands it back to him. I'm like, damn, he's right.
He's right. I want that autograph on my double platinum.
So anyway, there you go.
I got my Kiss fix. Thank you.
All right, good.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time to move on.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. The most time in your life you spent over in Long Beach was at one point you're going to Cal State Long Beach, right?
No, I was going to Long Beach City College.
Long Beach City. Long Beach City still. Yeah.
But
welcome to the Long Beach episode. You got shot in the fucking face again.
Let me turn this off here. It's getting a drive-by.
I got the Death Row Records crew coming in next.
Yeah.
Talk about a Long Beach episode.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. All right. So I mean I just want to, get people informed. I know this is a long time ago, but I mean, KNAC was such like an institution in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And you guys even did your anniversary shows at Long Beach Arena.
There was anniversary shows all over the place, basically. I think there was one in the Palladium, too, also.
Really?
I can't remember. I don't know. But, yeah.
Now, my question to you, though, it wasn't as fancy as it was now. I mean, they really, have done it up the downtown area. It was,
oh, yeah. There was nothing down there. I mean, the Pike, the remnants of the Pike were still there, actually.
The old Pike, not the new Pike.
Yeah, all the old Pike.
From the 60s, right? 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the nightlife back then was more about, what the station you were with was putting on. Like, you guys, around there, it seemed like Long Beach and Lakewood had these, restaurants.
Yeah.
That, at night they would become, these... Crazy Craig is going to come DJ, or someone else is going to come DJ, and you would play rock and metal.
Play metal, dude, and
it was very alive.
And girls would dance to it, dude.
Like not disco
boogie.
dance, like boogie.
No, yeah, man. You see these long-haired dudes out there on the dance floor, just dancing like spastics, dude. And I would always laugh, and so I created sometimes I come up with a contest order. It's like, hey, win this new Tesla record, or whatever. So I came up with one called it was the Hot Coals Dance Contest, and I played "I'm the One" by Van Halen, because if you listen to the vocals,
yep,
David Lee Roth, he goes, ooh, ow, ooh. Like he's dancing on hot coals, and his feet are on fire. So I told the dudes, I'm like, okay, get out there, your feet are on fire, man, dance it up. And you just see a bunch of guys out there hot footing it, man, just hot footing, holding their feet and jumping around. Oh man, it was hilarious.
That's
just
hilarious.
Be laughing my ass off.
And that's a different time in the music business. I mean, there's no internet.
Totally.
Things were people that seemed like had more enthusiasm.
There really weren't even CDs, dude. CDs only came in towards the end of my DJing club nights there.
Now, I'm really fascinated with your DJ skills because, you have a lot of roots on the East Side, going to the cha-cha parties,
yeah,
and the backyard gangster parties.
We talked about that last time too. Yeah.
But the thing is when I've gone to a lot of shows locally, and I see people saying they're DJing and they're DJing, and even though you have dance music and hip hop, and you can seamlessly tie it all together when you're mixing records, I've seen you literally control an audience at the slide bar many times over, where you just have this set list picked out, and everyone's rocking outside and drinking, and then you actually calm it down where it's not ballads, but everyone kind of walks back to the bar and buys more drinks, and then you get them all, you really know how to control, an audience when you get hired to DJ professionally. And I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen, and I thought that was something that only existed through hip hop or urban music, the way his formula he uses to control the audience. And I've seen him do it with metal, and I was intrigued by it.
Well, it's because I learned from doing these nights. It's there's time, you gotta make people dance. There's time you gotta make them drink, and you gotta break. You gotta do contests, or there's a definite formula to do it. And I think that's why I see people saying DJing is isn't there's no skill in it. It's no, actually there is a skill in it, but you just don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get these guitar dudes this guy's making millions of bucks, as a DJ or whatever. It's well, yeah, the guy makes millions of bucks because he's obviously mastered it, and it's and people come to pay big money to see that dude. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Question for you.
Anyway,
you're a big movie buff.
Sure.
Okay. Pacific Rim.
Dude,
tell me about it.
Fucking loved it, dude.
Okay. Now, when it comes to like the toys and the comics and all that stuff, I mean, Craig he's my guy. If he says it's good, I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Now, what made it viewable? I mean, it could have been okay, but it was great, I heard.
Yeah. I mean, if you grew up watching stuff like Johnny Sacco and his flying robot, or, if you're into exactly. Or, if you're into Voltron, or, just giant robots, was not so much Transformers, but what was the Robotech?
Shogun Warriors.
Robotech,
the Shogun Warriors? I used to have those. Yep. The big 2-foot Shogun Warriors?
I did too, it's actually Mazinger Z in Japan. They called them Shogun Warriors over here.
Do they still make those?
Yeah, dude.
But now the vintage ones are probably obviously tons of money, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the boxes?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's basically that and every Godzilla movie ever made.
It's killer.
Dude, there's like robots are just throwing giant monsters through buildings and just fighting. I think at the end of it, there was like 45 minutes straight of just monster fight.
That's the shit.
And dude, when I came out of there, my eyeballs felt like they were just burnt out. I was just like, whoa.
Now,
dude,
I want to feel like when I see that movie, I like the way you describe it, I feel like it's the first time I'm seeing Godzilla on Monster Island. For the first time. You remember that?
Yeah, totally.
That's killer, right?
Yeah.
When they're all on the island fighting?
Yeah.
Is it somewhat reminiscent of that? I mean the roots of it, where it comes from?
No, it's more like the Cthulhu mythos, because like there's like a earthquake under the ocean, and like this like rift opens up in the ocean floor, and all these monsters come through like a time portal, like, the hole in the earth. It's like a totally different, it's like a totally different universe or something that they come through with. So it's like, and it's weird because they just keep coming. So, and they're just like all different, monsters, but it's not like a Godzilla kind of situation like Monster Island where like they all have names and you're like, that's,
Mothra.
Ghidorah or King Ghidorah and, like Mothra and, Rodan. It's not like that. It's just monsters coming out and, they send the robot guys out to fight them. It's pretty gnarly.
Okay, so let's talk about Long Beach.
Okay, yeah.
So, SST was in Long Beach.
Uh-huh.
I used to work for them.
Yeah.
My band just played with Black Flag.
Yes.
Again, I love to hear your feedback on movies and music, because I think your opinion is very trustworthy. Really? Okay. Now, be honest. If you don't want to say anything, that's fine. What did you think of Black Flag at the Vex?
The Jealous Again stuff, I thought was really good. I thought it was rad.
You were stoked on it.
Yeah, but everything else just seemed kind of, I don't know, seemed kind of half-assed.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which, I was take it with a grain of salt because, it's not like Black Flag were the most proficient technical, players in the first place.
Exactly.
So I'm just, it's punk rock. But
it's like a burst of chaos.
Yeah, but I was just kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't too bowled over by it.
What'd you expect?
Huh?
Something more cohesive.
I guess I've never seen Black Flag before, so
it was
it's
actually
like maybe
your first time.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I was putting too much high expectations on it.
Great turnout though.
Yeah,
tons of people.
Me and Jimmy Cavs, man. It's like we were literally, we were kind of sitting in the back, and I literally was a fucking turnstile, dude, because there's just like all these drunk people and
going over you,
little kids. No, just like bam, bam, just going through us to get to where they needed to go. But it's not like they had to go through us. There was plenty of room around us.
Right.
And I don't want to sound like an old man because I think I'm sounding like an old.
You sound like Gene Simmons, dude.
But I mean, literally, at one point, like the floor
fucking
was
old man shit.
The floor, hey, man. The floor was all wet, and at one point, this girl came stumbling into me, dude, and literally she turned me around like it was a turnstile because it was so slippery on the floor. I literally went phew, like just spun around in my spot, and I was like, damn.
Speaking of, since we're on the Gene Simmons topic, Jeremy Hansen, who's on the soundboard operating tonight, actually has a Gene Simmons story, a very recent one.
Oh, really?
And let me tell you something. Jeremy, say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
So, actually, Jeremy's a very well-rounded fellow. He's works hard, has done many cool things, and, doesn't get starstruck.
Yeah.
But, you saw him at the Sunset 5, right?
Yeah. The what's that over by Beverly Center? Or no, on Sunset.
No, Sunset 5 is on
Sunset 5
by the Laugh
the
Factory.
Crescent Heights. Yeah, Coconut Teaser.
What movie were you going to go see?
I was going to see On the Road.
Okay.
They did a rendition of On the Road by Jack Kerouac, which
and you saw it. You were walking out.
Well, I was walking in actually before I even saw the movie, and Gene Simmons was walking out. He was with his wife, I guess. a few other people. And
was he wearing the suit?
He was wearing the suit,
the wig.
Yeah, and he just looks at me, and I'm walking in with this girl, and he just says, "Whatever you do, don't go see On the Road." And I was just like, fuck, because that's the movie I was going to see. But, you know, if Gene Simmons says it sucks, then I took his word for it, and the movie, it sucked.
Wow.
Yeah, Gene Simmons called it.
So it was actually a pretty positive experience because
it's just funny, man, because when you see Gene Simmons, you know, like you said, I'm not usually starstruck. We've had enough people in here for me to get used to that kind of thing, and you know, it is LA. But when you see Gene Simmons, I don't know, kind of
you kind of like do a double take, like, wait, that's Gene from Kiss?
And just for him to just blurt something out at me, you know, like, I don't know, like other people of his stature, I don't think would fucking look in your direction, you know?
Right. That's interesting. And it sucked.
The movie was terrible. It was,
well, thanks for sharing.
You know, I just remembered. Did I tell you the time that when me and Glenn were at like Aaron Brothers or like some art place, and we saw Paul Stanley in there?
No, so you and Glenn Danzig were
we were at the art store to get some backing boards because we were going down to Comic-Con that week.
I sent some old man shit Paul's pulling.
Oh, dude, it was really funny. So he was in there, you know, without the wig,
right?
And he had some like look like day makeup on. Right, and he's in there just
day makeup.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing. That's the only way I can describe it. It looks like he got it. It almost looked like he was being almost like a how was it? A funeral director applied his makeup. You know?
A funeral director.
You know? So yeah, it looked like he was being embalmed. Whatever. He looked like an old Yenta woman, basically.
An old Jewess?
Yeah. And so he was in there looking for paint or whatever, and then like I'm just kind of in there like this and that, and Glenn comes up to me, he goes, dude, go check out who's in aisle 4 or
so
whatever.
Glenn saw him?
Glenn saw him
he
first.
tells you to go check him out.
Go check that out. I'm like, I'll walk over there.
That's so awesome.
And I was like,
check this guy out.
Dude, I'm like, don't. And I came back, I go, what's that, Paul Stanley? And he goes, yeah, I go check that out. So we were just kind of laughing.
So was Glenn like kind of laughing at it, like, look at this guy?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess Glenn has a story about his run-in with Gene Simmons a long time ago too. Like Kiss wanted the Misfits to open up for Kiss.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, in the early 70s or whatever. It's a long story. Not early 70s, but, you know, 77 or whatever. Anyway, so me and Glenn go up to the checkout counter, and then Paul like comes to walk up to the checkout counter, sees us both there, and kind of like, ooh, you know, like looked like he didn't want to approach us, or you know, he didn't want to like. It was either he knew who Glenn was and didn't want to have to get into a conversation,
right?
Or he just thought we were just like some
music fans,
some crazy music people, and like didn't want to like, you know,
and they
thought we were gonna like hassle him or something like, hey, Paul Stanley. So, but either one, we just kind of like whatever. Went back to, you know, waiting to pay for our stuff. It happened 4 times. Like he would walk away, come back to see if we were gone, see that we're still there. Yeah, walk back, just kind of like, you know, acting like he was doing something, but he really wasn't doing anything.
Yenta.
Yeah.
With day makeup.
Yeah, day makeup, dude.
My hero.
He looked like he was being embalmed.
The best rhythm guitarist and vocalist of all time.
Huh?
I'm just kidding. No,
he wasn't Sexy Paul that day, I'll tell you that much. But, yeah, and then we went got in my car, and we were about to get out, and, like, I'm trying to pull out, and he's, like, in a Bentley or something.
A Bentley?
And, like, he's just trying to get out of there as quick as possible, and, like, just doing all these weird fucking, like, 8-point turns, like
all like paranoid.
I'm like right in the middle of the parking lot, like already like trying to get out.
With Glenn Danzig.
Yeah, and like
that's even better.
And he's just Paul Stanley's just like all flustered, and like finally Glenn rolls down the window and goes, "Move your fucking ass!" and he fucking stepped on it and just like pretty much.
And there goes Paul into the sunset with his Bentley.
Pretty much
day makeup on.
pretty much peeled rubber right out of there. I was like, wow.
What is it with those guys?
I don't know,
I'm the biggest
man.
Kiss fan, but everyone, like, whenever, like, pretty much it's always like a big production with those guys. Like, when everyone sees them around town, it's always like something. Like, there's just a paranoia thing, and then it's arguments with you in the DJ booth.
I don't know, dude.
That must have looked so funny in the DJ booth, like, because the club's going, and, like, inside, you see you.
Oh, it's something from out of a movie. Yeah, totally. You know, like, what's really going on in there? You just see this weird argument, and then when you get inside, when you hear it, I don't know. So you want me to talk about Long Beach? Because, you know, I mean, I'll tell stories all day long, but...
I just want to talk about
you know
Kiss.
what? I don't.
I'm just kidding.
I can't remember anything from Long Beach really.
But that's fine.
You know,
well, you know what
except for like Fenders. You know, that's downtown.
Well, I've never been to Fenders.
Okay.
Tell me the most epic show you've seen there, because I mean.
Well, the most epic one was the night that it burnt down when Dark Angel played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it burnt down while the show was happening.
No, it burnt down later.
Right after.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I have all that footage. I filmed it, and I gotta find it, dude. I have it on VHS. I filmed it I had a public access show at the time, and they did a signing at Wild Rags
that day.
Yeah, that day
in Montebello,
and then went and they did the show at Fenders in Long Beach that night, and I filmed the whole show and I edited it down, to one song. I think. I don't know. I forgot what song it was. Darkness Descends or something. I don't know. And then I filmed like the party afterwards that they had like in the back of the Fenders. Everybody was just
the backstage area.
It wasn't like a backstage area. It was like almost like a banquet room.
Okay,
it was weird, really huge. But then later on, we had heard that it burnt down. So. Which was, I think, the second place that burnt down after Dark Angel played. I think another place burnt down too, like a Elks Lodge or something.
In SoCal?
Oh yeah, like Whittier, Pico or something. Because Dark Angel, back then it was still kind of speed metal. It's kind of almost like the hardcore punk thing. It's like there weren't a whole lot of places for these bands to play, And so, and people thought that they were, hooligans anyway. So, bands would set up at an Elks Lodge or a Masonic temple or something.
Right. Promoters would do shows there.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Because real clubs would say, well, no, we don't want that shit there.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, you've had this radio career, this career with Danzig for a while. What about arguments with Gene Simmons in the plexiglass booth, right? No. Let's talk about.
Like I'm a professional or something. That's what
Hey,
it seems like.
Relax. I'm a professional.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Thanks for the compliment.
No. Let's talk about you. Did music at one point.
Yeah.
What was the name of that band?
The one with Phil Vera?
Yeah.
Oh, Satan a Go-Go?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play shows?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Dude, we played once at the Dancing Waters.
Okay.
In Pedro.
Waters Club.
Yeah. It was called Dancing Waters, I think, at one point. Yeah. And we were playing with Psycho Squad, which was Chris Holmes from Wasp. Yeah. After Wasp broke up, Chris Holmes had this band called Psycho Squad. And it was
so good.
Fucking horrible. It was so god-awful.
Was it so bad?
It was horrible. But it was like straight up fucking cock rock metal, and we were kind of more like, because Phil from 16 and Crom and Despise You was in the band.
Right.
And our other friend, Ray Santa Maria, was in the band too. And like after Satan a Go-Go broke up, Phil and Ray went off and made this band called Fresh American Lamb. I don't know. It's like they had it was really underground shit, like noise, amphetamine reptile style kind of stuff.
Helmet-ish? Or a little more dirtier than that?
Dirtier, like, I want to say like Unsane or Today's the Day, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I was the singer. But
Satan a go-go, man, bring it back.
A friend of mine that used to be my roommate came down from San Francisco for the weekend and we're like, yeah, let's go fucking, I'm doing this show. So we go. He's like, hey man, I brought down some acid. And so didn't I talk about doing acid last time too?
No, you ate a space cake.
Oh,
in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So, this is similar because I've eaten. I take the hit of acid, and we finally go on stage, and I'd been drinking beer with Chris Holmes in the beer garden, like for hours.
And you had no idea you were there for hours.
Yeah,
felt like 10 minutes.
I'm just like, no, literally hours. Like it might have we were probably drinking for like 3 hours.
Wow.
So, it's time to go on, and I'm up there on the stage, and
we just blasted out of your mind.
I'm jumping around, and I'm fucking doing backflips and stuff like that. And on top of all this beer that I drink. So once, right in the middle of the set, I go to do this song, and I'm like, man, I do not feel so good. And I go, I think I'm going to hurl people, and they're like, shut up, play the song.
You announced it?
Shut up, yeah. So I start going into the song, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden I just kind of turn my head and just like throw up all over the stage and just kind of wipe it off and go right back to singing, and the whole crowd was just like, yeah, fucking punk rock. That's punk rock. It's awesome.
Oh my God. Now, you know what? Now let's do one more altered mind story. They did not hear the space cake story.
That's a long story, though.
Well,
let's
just
condense
say
it.
Yeah, condense it. Now, you went to Jamaica.
Yes, I did.
Now, what brought you there?
Because I went to smoke weed.
So it was a vacation. Like, I'm going to go smoke weed.
I didn't consider it a vacation. I considered it a mission because I was going to do a world weed smoking tour, but I ended it with Jamaica because after that I couldn't smoke weed.
You actually ended up in a hospital.
I ended up in a hospital in Jamaica because I ate this ganja cake, and it was like a bundt cake,
Not too big.
But
it was a whole cake.
A whole cake, and I was only supposed to eat one piece. And I ended up eating the whole thing. It was green, and it was 8 pieces. And the waiter was like, hey, young man, how'd you like the cake? And my friend's like, we don't know. He ate the whole thing. And she's like, oh, no, man, you're only supposed to eat one piece. And I'm like, whatever, dude. And next thing I know, they're carrying me out of the place, and I'm in the taxi with our Jamaican Rasta friend, Denny, and he's driving us, and we're like driving through we're driving up into the mountains basically, and the road was like lined with like bamboo and stuff, and I'm just looking at there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking hallucinating my balls off, and I'm seeing like dinosaurs like come over the bamboo, like, argh! And I'm like, Danny, I'm seeing dinosaurs, man, we gotta get somewhere quick. And so, we ended up going to where we're staying, which was his house up in the mountains, which was conveniently located right next door to the hospital, which was one room, probably as big as this room.
The
that we're
hospital
in.
was this big?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah. But I couldn't go there until the next day, so like I had to pretty much wait it out all night, and it was just horrible. It felt like a drill was going through my stomach, and next day, and I couldn't eat anything, couldn't smoke anything. I would have sleeping sickness, or I'd just pass out wherever I was. One time I woke up, I was halfway in the door, halfway out the door.
Oh, man.
That kind of thing. It's like my wallet's just sitting in there in my back pocket. I'm just like, in Jamaica, some crazy white kid with tattoos. And
this is like what, like 90-something?
It was
80s.
It was 87. When I came back from Jamaica, I'm like,
I was 12 years old skating in front of my house in 87 with
I was 19.
with my Anthrax Knot shirt, dude. And you were eating space cakes in Jamaica.
I was 19.
love it.
Yeah, I was 19, dude. And like when I came back, I'm like, you know what? I really got to do something with my fucking life, dude. Because that's when I was working construction for my uncle, and that's when I came back from Jamaica. I'm like, that's when I looked into going to Long Beach City College, and I saw they had a radio program and a video production program, and I took both of them.
Let me ask you a question. When you go to college and take a class that says this is for radio, what do they teach you there? It's like soundboard op?
No, it was the business of radio. Like
the business of radio.
They taught you everything about radio, like, you know, how it works, you know, what, you know, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like, it's a class, you know what I mean?
So it was pretty much everything that you need to know to do business or radio.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And your teacher was Tom Marr, right?
Yeah, he was the promotions director at KNUC.
Right, so. And he was teaching at City College. But he actually was really immersed in artist management for a while, too.
BFD. He managed Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And I forgot who else, too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you think anything you learned in that class you apply today in any way?
Well, not really, because I don't work in radio per se.
Right,
you know,
right. It's not your day job.
And internet radio is just, you know, it might as well be, you know, do whatever the fuck you want.
It's the Wild
West.
Because
there's not really any kind of like commercials. There's not any kind of like time frame that you have to adhere to. You know, because like in radio, like there's things called I forgot what they're called, but you know, like 10 after and 10 till, you know, there's all like break times and, you know, there's things that you have to do at certain points, you know. Well,
you're live on the air. So
yeah, you don't have to do any of that in radio, in internet radio. You know what I mean? Just
it's
whatever.
the Wild West.
Pretty much.
You can say whatever you want also.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I'm glad that I did it. I went through all that stuff and, you know, because I listened back to my radio shows. And I listened to other people's internet radio shows that, like, you know, just kind of like, I'm gonna do an internet radio show, and you know, hey, I applaud them for giving it a good go, but you know, I've been doing this for so long. It's like I feel that mine are so much better than that. You know, that it's like. I think people should actually really learn about radio and stuff before they go doing something like that. I mean, you know, you got a talk radio show, so it's like anything that none of that that applies. You know what I mean?
But you're talking about music related.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the DJ formula, you DJ on your show, and you actually go out there and do it live.
Yeah.
And it's like the same, you create the same rhythm.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of work.
That's true.
A lot of work.
Do.
It's not just sit back and play.
Yeah, that's true. I do that too. Yeah, because like, you know, some of these guys' shows that I listen to, it's like, dude, don't play an 18-minute suicide doom song. You know,
that's like the easy way out.
You know, it's like that's like the most boring thing ever. I mean, I've done it myself, but
when you're hungover,
But I mean,
when you do it.
But it's sleep. You know, it's like I'm playing Jerusalem by sleep.
When I get the calls at 4 in the morning saying, Eddie, help me. I'm like, oh, tomorrow he's going to play an 18-minute song.
Yes. Oh, there's been times I was so hungover one time, it's like I should have just stayed at home, but somehow I got down to the station, and I was just like, oh, God, I feel like hell. Here's Jerusalem from sleep. And it's like, you know, it's like 54 minutes long. So I just put it on, I go over there. If anybody needs me, I'll be on the couch. And I just put the webcam over on the couch and put newspaper on my face. Like,
and people that log on could see you later.
These could see me sleeping. And
with the newspaper over your face.
I set my alarm clock for 54 minutes. And then when it went off, I got up. I got on the mic. I was like, that was Jerusalem from sleep. And here it is again. And I played again. And then that was my show. And I went home.
He went home, went to bed.
That's right. Went back to bed.
You know, it's classic. I think the first time I was ever on FM radio was KXLU. It's about 2 years ago. Right when, it was about 2 years ago. So KXLU, I'm not gonna say what show it was, but it's very late. And
was it Darth Vader Disco or
no? But this guy, it was classic because he's like, I've never had a in-studio guest in before. Total, like, you know, artsy guy.
And NPR guy?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, so you know what? Oh, you know, just hang tight and I'll bring you on in a little while. So it was like running really late. It was like a really early morning, wee hour show into Sunday morning. And so the funny thing was, he told me, he goes, it's a 4-hour show or 3 hours. It goes the first hour and a half. We're just going to do it. And then the last hour and a half, I'm going to drink this bottle of champagne and just sleep on the sofa. And he's instructing me. So we were on. He did his thing, and I interviewed. You know, I did an interview for like 15, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the hour and a half time was up. And sure enough, he just replayed. You know, exactly what we just did.
Yeah.
Recorded it, and he lied there after he pounded a bottle of champagne. He was just.
And you didn't leave?
I just sat there. Yeah.
That's
pretty heavy,
weird,
right?
Dude.
That's weird stuff, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, he was my ride home because the freeways are not so nice.
I see. I thought you were just like sitting there, like being a weirdo lurker.
The freeways. No, I was like this.
Like, wow.
No.
Hey, you know what? When you were talking with, earlier about some weird glass chamber.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking?
The DJ plexiglass. No, you.
No, yeah.
Terminal Island.
Okay. It made me think of this thing that I actually do remember from Long Beach, that we would go when we were really drunk, hammered in high school.
Okay.
Like in north part of Long Beach, I forgot what it's called. Like, I want to say like Balboa Heights or something like that.
Okay.
But it's not Balboa Heights, but something sounds like that. People would always say, like, you know, there's this midget community over there.
Oh, yeah.
And this was like this holy grail to, like, you know, you're a kid, you gotta go find it and see what's going on, right? Then you're all drunk and like, let's go check it out. So I remember one time it was Halloween, and we went to a party over there. And sure enough, we're drunk as hell, and we're on the golf course, and then we're doing donuts in my car and golf course, and all crazy. And we just happened to stumble upon this street, and it says, you know, like, you know, do not, you know, was it gated, not private community, you know, whatever. And so we went in there anyway, and like all the doors it was like regular sized houses, but like all the doors were short and the doorknobs were like, you know,
down
3 feet. And I was like, wow, I go, this must be the little people's village that we've heard about. But I gotta remember what that about. It wasn't
one in Bell Gardens.
Bixby Heights.
Bixby Heights.
That's
Bixby Knolls.
Bixby Knolls. That's what the place. Okay.
Okay, so there's a midget community in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only thing I can pretty much tell you about Long Beach.
And with that being said...
And Jim's Burgers, maybe. Jim's Burgers. 7th Street.
Have you ever been on the Blue Line?
No, I haven't.
Tell you what. I'll take you from downtown L.A. to downtown Long Beach.
No, my neighbor Kim Chi says she's taken the Blue Line many, many times and will never do it again.
Why?
I just had a bad experience on it.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like a punk rock, you know, crazy chick. Well, she's not crazy, but...
Well, I've even had punk rock guys tell me that they don't want to ride it.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. Why you want to get me to ride on it?
But I'll ride it. Nothing's ever happened to me. So if you go with me, you'll be safe.
Yeah. Where are we going to go?
We're going to go to the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Oh, shit, dude.
And we're going to go to the night dive where we could drink beer and walk around. Like how you do with Universal. No, it's not a bromance. Okay. I'm just trying to advocate for MTA.
Thought I had a date.
Well, that being said, maybe the next episode we'll set you up.
All right.
I'll have
every time I come in here, you're like, yeah, I want you to talk about this place, that place, and then I'd be like, I never talk about any place in Hollywood.
That's just an excuse to get you on. We'll do a Hollywood episode.
Okay. I'll do it.
We'll do a Hollywood episode.
I can tell you about all kinds of cool stuff in Hollywood.
We'll do a Hollywood episode. All right. Well, that's a wrap.
All right.
That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Little Tokyo